with
That's great, man.
episode 48 of the New
Wow.
Jack Swing podcast. Welcome, everyone. We're here. We've got brothers from the New Jack Swing NGS4. NGS4.
NGS3.
NGS3. I don't know where to say the Andrew and VJ. You guys are welcome.
Hi, man.
Okay.
Hi, Nappy. Sorry, there was a bit of a pause there. I was like, what's going on there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Anyway, as a normal, it'll be great just to go around just to see how everyone is doing and any major music news before we get episode, which is any Heartbreak. But Stevie, how's the week? A couple of weeks been for you?
Good evening to everybody out there. Bonjour to all our French New Jack viewers. Sawadee Cap to all our Thailand New Jack Swing viewers. And hope you've had a good fortnight since we've been live. It's good to see you all.
Yes. Major music news.
It's Christmas, isn't it? So it's the Christmas releases, I guess. It's the time of year where all the big new releases have come out, and now we wind down for Christmas. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of any. I'm still listening to the Mary J. Blige album from last time. Oh, it's a good, solid, good album. So if you want to check that, go and buy her album. It's an 8 out of 10 for me.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's a really good score. You really like it.
I wasn't expecting it to be that good. I thought a couple of tracks I'd like on it, but it's a very solid album. Well, I'm sure we talked about it last time.
Yeah, we did. You did. Derek, welcome. Got you through recordings, so my top 10 will be on the one. Okay, it'll be interesting to see your top 10 as we go for the any Heartbreak. Andrew, how's it been? Any music news that you can share with everyone?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it short, but I just watched this documentary on Netflix. It was about Yacht Rock, and what it reminded me of, frankly, was even this whole New Jack Swing thing. Because the short version is, Yacht Rock as a genre wasn't even named until 2005 by this internet comedy troupe, and it was their description of the soft rock that was based out in LA. That was kind of the primordial ooze with Steely Dan, but then kind of the titans of the genre would be like Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins, and then the members of Toto. Also Christopher Cross. And really the era, if you will, D6 all the way up to 81. And basically talked about how even it ended because MTV came along and the yacht rockers weren't really into image. They were more session musicians, i.e. Quincy Jones using those guys from Toto for Thriller. So basically a lot of them got left behind because of the changing times, the same way with New Jack, with at least in the US, gangster rap, and then, alternative kind of killing that, at least out here. So it was really cool to kind of watch something, see how New York was kind of the epicenter of New Jack Swing and LA is the center of yacht rock, and now it's having a revival. It just reminded me of what we do, and it was really cool. So was
it presented by a lady called Katie Puttrick?
As a matter of fact, no. But no. But it's on at least in the US, it's on Max or HBO Max, but you could probably find it on streaming somewhere. But Questlove is a commentator on it, and as well as Prince Paul, the producer from the 80s.
Stephanix, yeah.
And then you also have this guy named Thundercat, who's more of a 2017 artist. But it just reminded me of, again, NJS. Yacht Rock is a thing. Michael McDonald. I mean, Sweet Freedom. You guys know that, I'm sure.
Can you see that?
It's backwards for me. What does it say?
It says a Yacht Rock Odyssey. It's like a 4 CD box set that's come out with everything that was played in that documentary.
Yeah,
will be on this box set, and this come out about a month ago.
Wow!
Yeah, so it's
really worth getting. Fantastic 4 CD compilation. It's got everything on it. Everything you just mentioned there. Michael McDonald, Toto, the works.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up on offline about that. But you know, it was a good scene. Oh, one more thing, and then I'm gonna shut up. One more thing. That is like, I feel like, you know, before I saw the documentary, I just thought of it as like part Blue Eyed Soul, part Quiet Storm music, because they even talked about Al Jarreau being yacht rock, and I feel like that as a term might be a little too. I don't know if I really buy it. But they had the same arguments, like, is that really yacht rock or is that not yacht rock? Like, what's the elements of yacht rock? We talk about, is that New Jack Swing? Is that not New Jack Swing? So it was just, it felt really, yeah, it just felt really cool. So that is my latest news.
Okay. What about you, VJ?
I was at a couple of concerts this week. I saw Black Sheep with Drez and Mr. Long together on stage in London. So excited to see them. It was really nice. They did a fantastic show. That was brilliant. And the night before, on Monday, I saw Dave Chappelle and Killer Mike did a show.
Wow.
I didn't know who Killer Mike was. I'm really sorry. I'm embarrassed. All of you are looking at me like, what? Are you a lunatic? I didn't know who Killer Mike was. But
4-time Grammy Award-winning Killer Mike.
When you say it like that, it's really, really embarrassing. But no, he was very good, and Dave Chappelle was fantastic. And you had Aziz Ansari. And
Where was that? So last exit said was at the Jazz Cafe.
Black Sheep was at the Jazz Cafe, and this one was at Hammersmith Apollo. And Aziz Ansari and Jimmy Carr came as well. And it was music, it was hip hop and comedy, which was fantastic. That's my music news about this since we last spoke. That's about it, really.
That's pretty impressive. You know, two good gigs there. I mean, there is a new Killer Mike album out. It's very good, actually.
We'll check it out. Now I know who he is.
It's got some good features on it from Anthony Hamilton, and it's a good album, solid album.
Definitely check that out.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, tonight we are the Any Heartbreak album, and it's quite a poignant album for the group because this introduced the world that didn't know him before. Johnny Gill coming in as the fifth member, and it felt like with this as the progressive Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel album was just making its way up, come big with this. I mean, because if not, the group as we know them would not have existed. This album really was such a poignant album for the time, and it allowed them to say, okay, yep, we can go our separate ways and come back, but you know, we've laid a foundation. So it's going to be interesting just to get everyone's perspective. Before we go into the songs and stuff like that, I'll probably go with you last, Andrew. But so VJ, I mean, just what are your thoughts about the album and what your memories of Any Heartbreak?
Any Heartbreak is an exceptional album. It truly is just such a special project. You think Bobby Brown had just left the group. This guy called Johnny Gill had come in. I mean, we knew a little bit about him from the stuff he'd done with Stacey Lattisaw, etc., but we didn't really know who he was. And what an interesting inclusion to the group. Fantastic album. I once saw that there was a long box, the CD, you know, the CDs used to come in long boxes. Mm-hmm. I saw the long box at a secondhand store back in the day for £5, and I didn't pick it up. And you couldn't get that for £200 now. It's just impossible to get. Good luck to anybody that finds that, but I wish I could pick it up.
VJ, I've had one of them where there was two, you know, the Today albums, the two Today albums.
Yeah.
I had both long boxes in my hand, and I left the first one.
What?
Why I didn't buy? And they're only £5 each.
What?
They're in a box on the floor, and I left the first one. I ended up paying like $40 for it years later. Not the long box.
you did get it. That's good.
But I'd go back every week in the shop trying to think, is it still there? Is it gone? Obviously, someone had bought it.
And those things are always on the floor, right?
Yeah, they seem to be on it. You know, all the New Jack and R&B stuff that nobody wants, always in a box on the floor somewhere.
No, yeah, exactly. A fantastic album. And Last Exit to Brooklyn said, "Were you at the Jazz Cafe?" Yes, I was for the Black Sheep show. But yeah, any Heartbreak, the Heartbreak album, fantastic. I loved it.
What about you, Stevie? What was your recollection of the album?
My memories were during 1989 when I was really getting into New Jack, and I'd bought Guy My Fantasy, and I'd bought the Guy album, and I was searching for stuff that was as good or sounded like the Guy album. I remember going into the record shop, and I bought 2 vinyl LPs that day, and one of them was the first By All Means album. Again, that was like, I think it was 1987 album I got 2 years later. And, I picked this up, obviously the vinyl LP, and I'd heard Candy Girl, but I didn't correlate Candy Girl with, because they were so much older. And I'm like, who are these guys? New Edition.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
either.
it said produced by Jam and Lewis, and I bought it blind. I thought, I'm just going to buy it because it just looks, I like the suits, I like the cover, I'll see what it's like. And I thought, wow, I've actually found an album as good as Guy, if not better. I couldn't believe it. So that was I didn't know that obviously 30 odd years later I'd still be playing it, and it's still like one of my favorite albums of all time. But that was my memory of it, just buying it complete. I didn't even know who they were properly. I was still putting all the pieces together in 1988 and 89. I didn't even realize Bobby Brown was in this group and left. But as the years went by, I put all that information together. So an important album though, very important album growing up.
Yeah, I mean, before Andrew comes in as our resident expert for today, I think for me it was it was watching them, with the Is It Is in Love video, and the whole the Brooke Payne, like, come on, you guys aren't doing well enough, and he leaves, and then they're rehearsing on their own. And for me, I as I said, I didn't know Johnny because I didn't know his previous work. But when I saw him in the group, I was like, "Who's this guy?" And especially when the my kind of, it's not my kind of girl. She's not my, what's that?
You're not my kind of girl.
You're not my kind of girl. And he was standing in front with Ralph, and I'm thinking, and I hated him for that. I'm like, wait a minute, you just joined the group, and you've relegated Ricky, Bobby, and Mike to the back. So I was not really happy about that. But I think, as I said, it was quite interesting because I said the prerogative, "Don't Be Cruel" was just blowing up, and it was interesting just to see that actually these guys were really holding their own, even though they had 5 of them having to compete with what Bobby was doing and what Al was doing. It just felt like, okay, because we, like the most of us, we remember Popcorn Love and Candy Girl, and then anything in between after that. I know in Nigeria I didn't get to listen to it. So all the Christmas albums and the other albums and stuff, the throwback albums, no, we didn't hear those ones. So it was almost like, the kids have become men and they blew up. So that was my memories of it. No one could ever replace Bobby, but Johnny was a great addition to the group. So Andrew, what's your recollection of the Any Heartbreak?
So the context is I grew up in Atlanta, Canada, so they didn't really play R&B at all. So I didn't even know who New Edition was until after Bobby Brown. So we're talking all the way to like 89, 90. Now,
so no Candy Girl, no Popcorn Love, Cool It Down, Mr. Telephone Man, okay.
None of it. No, that was all US, not Canada. So I remember, though, If It Is in Love was played, and it was by this group called New Addition. I was thinking New Edition, like, oh, it's a new math, right? Anyway, so then it was like Bobby Brown came from this group called New Edition. So then I'm like, wait, so there's more Bobby Browns? That was in my head. Like, is this whole staff waiting to come out to like just kick ass? Like, that was cool, right? Then I remember it was 1990, and Johnny Gill came out and did Rub You the Right Way. And then, of course, Don Cornelius is like, so is New Edition still broken up? Whatever. And then that was like, okay. Then BBD comes out, and then I'm like, okay, now more. And then finally, there was a special Johnny Gill had, and they actually showed clips from the shoot. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Showed clips from Boyz II Men, and I just saw them all in the suits, and I'm like, holy crap. Then I borrowed the Heartbreak tape. Finally, fell in love. Then saw the If It Isn't Love video finally, and I was like, these guys are amazing, and I never looked back. They became my favorite group of all time, and then I went back in time to see the Candy Girls, to see the Any Heartbreaks, to see the Cool It Nows, to see the All for Loves. But it was like going into a treasure chest, rummaging through everything and going, oh my God, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. And there was even a USA Today.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna comment in a second. There's a USA Today where they actually interviewed all 5 of them. And that was the first time I saw like a clip of She Gives Me a Bang as kids. And you saw like Ron DeVoe and Ralph Tresvant. I'm like, why do they all have French last names? Anyway, it was such an amazing experience. And hearing the album again, world, all things must change. I could do the whole thing, but I'm not going to do it now. It was amazing. So basically, my experience of New Edition was this amazing super group that is like, I've never seen anything like them before that, and nothing like them after, because every member brought something to the table, which I'll go into later on in the podcast.
Isn't it interesting, because the person who's probably the most excited about the album didn't live through it when the album came out. I mean, do you guys remember the song, the video for Any Heartbreak, when Theo from the Cosby Show I mean, to me that was like, wow, they know Theo. Do you remember the video and seeing Theo being the director of it?
Everybody was in that video.
Yeah.
Everyone. And I was just like, so that was also okay. I know it.
But were you watching it at the time?
I watched it in '90, so I watched it basically.
So you missed the buzz of what it like.
Yeah, I did. Blame Canada like South Park.
Okay.
This album must have had zero promotion in the UK then, because obviously I remember Candy Girl in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing from a, no
what about
promotion.
Popcorn Love and Cool It Down and Mr. Telephone Man? All that.
Were they hits in the UK? I thought
they were big in Nigeria. They were Popcorn Love.
Candy Girl was massive here.
Candy Girl.
That was it.
That was it. And then we didn't hear of them again.
Oh, even Mr. Telephone Man. You didn't hear Mr. Telephone Man and Cool It Down?
No,
really. I don't remember it being
wasn't until 1996 Hit Me Off that got promoted here.
Yeah, that was heavily promoted.
But you look at that, look at them gaps between. It's just crazy. Nothing off this album got promoted in the UK. I don't think.
Wow.
We didn't. The first song with them that really got promoted after Candy Girl, I would say, would be Word to the Mother with Bell Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
But there was a long gap. I don't know what happened in between. I mean, they were released as singles, but there was no real push. I didn't get that.
Wow.
Interesting.
MC put Last X just said that they put all their UK money on the Prerogative album. I'm sorry, I don't know. I keep calling it Prerogative album. Don't Be Cruel album. But it was big in Nigeria though. That's what I would say, because secondary school from 83 to 92, I was in Nigeria. So that's okay. Well,
they must have been in Nigeria then. They must with the record shops were they importing the album over there?
Yeah, they were importing the album.
Wow, that's brilliant.
But we were getting a lot of. We had this guy called Casey Keller. I don't know, Casey Case or something. I can't remember his name. He had a top 10.
Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem, yes. So we were. That was big in Nigeria. So every week he would give us the top 20, and so of course, we're watching all this stuff competing, and then even watching the videos was massive. I can always remember Superwoman playing and stuff. But yeah, with New Edition, that's when around this time is when somebody, when I got into my Teddy Riley, when somebody says, oh, the guy who did Fantasy, he did this and he did that. And that's how I got into Teddy and New Jack, because I realized one guy could do all that stuff. Then I wanted to hear everything else and stuff. So yeah, but as I said, they needed this album. Could you? In here in the UK, I don't know if you guys saw the documentary about boy bands. It's on BBC.
Yeah, it was on a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's really good. They started with Take That. The guys who sang, is it Bros? Not Bros. The guys with the white Christmas. E17. They did all the stuff. And somehow I'm watching this. I'm thinking of New Edition and American bands, but it was really was a really good set of stuff. But just to think about how this album really was pointing, because if Bobby had just blown up and they just came out with a mediocre album, I don't know what would have happened. I mean, so they couldn't have done any better with this album, and then headlining a tour before Bobby took his own. So yes, we're gonna go through the album. There are more than 10 songs on it, but we're only gonna showcase our top 10.
Derek Mallory's trying to send us a message that the singer Suave was asked to be in the group. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. That's incredible. That's what an interesting fact.
Well, it makes sense though when they were thinking about a fifth member. I don't think they would just go straight to Johnny. They'd probably thinking about whether his style is, and I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's true. Crucial was released in the UK. I do remember seeing a UK 12-inch of Crucial. And yeah, they were released, but they just weren't promoted that well.
Okay. Oh, okay. So let's start with number. We'll start with number 10. Well, Andrew, might as well.
When was this actually released in '88? Can anyone remember it? Because, like I said, I didn't buy it in '88.
Well, June 8th, 88 is the date, I believe, is when.
So it's a summer album then. So it's released in the summer.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was going to say Andrew's going to know the date. He's going to know the minute it came out. It only come out at 9, but the delivery was late. It came at 9:05.
Yeah, but it sounds like you got the album like I did in like a year later.
Yeah, totally, and it just seemed like just precious. Like it just seemed like it was even classier, I think, than anything that came after it. Because obviously I'm not hating on the whole mental look and with BBD and everybody, but to see them all in suits and then seeing even the album, the jacket and the liner notes and everything, I was like, that was New Edition at its slickest prime. That was their Thriller, as far as I'm concerned. So
what's also interesting about the production as well. I can hear drum sounds in this album from both Janet albums at the time, from the Control album and the Rhythm Nation. It's like they still not copy. It's like in each album, I thought, oh yeah, they're still using them drum sounds, which is
like it isn't Love. I can just hear the same drums that they would have used for Janet.
Because, like I said, on this album, there is some tracks that do sound like they were recorded probably 2 years early, and some tracks that sound like they should have come out in 1990. It's you got a really dated sounds on some of the tracks, and some of the tracks were quite forward thinking in terms of the production, I thought.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Andrew will know this. Stevie, you may know this as well. Do you know this box set?
Try to see what it is. It's an EMI.
Jam and Lewis.
Right.
Jam and Lewis for this set. So on disc 2, which is the years 86 through to 90, it has 3 New Edition tracks, and it's got Can You Stand the Rain, Boys to Men, and If It Isn't Love. And then it's got loads of Janet tracks. So it's got all the tracks that you just mentioned. So it kind of like they all fit in with each other. So I just wanted to check. You're right. Yeah,
the same sort of sounds and stuff that they had. And by this time, I Wanna had already been out, and Prerogative. So, well, I'm sure I Wanna would have been out. So they're thinking about how to match that energy.
Huge change in sound from them as well. If you compare it to the other 80 albums, huge change.
Yeah. And Stevie, it's funny because Super Lady wasn't on the cassette. It was only on the CD. So Super Lady, when I first heard it dubbed off of a friend, I thought Super Lady was an All for Love era song that they just threw on there. So it sounds nothing like the rest of the album. And I think it's produced by Ricky and Ralph. It's not produced by Jam and Lewis. And the other piece I just want to say about the Janet and Heartbreak is Heartbreak and Rhythm Nation are indeed my 2 favorite albums of all time. And I think that because they're sibling albums, 88, 89, they were probably recorded very close together. And I think Johnny Gill even does finger snaps on he does finger snaps on I want to say it's
he's on Escapade.
So
there's also that that Johnny Gill, what's that unreleased track? It was dropped off the album, something Games with Janet and John.
Yeah, I think you're right. I forget the name of the album though. But I mean,
something.
Yeah,
very good. That's Johnny Gill and Janet Jackson duet, which is off the Rhythm Nation. So same era.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. He says that Ricky found his identity, his
Oh,
vocal
totally.
on the album. Yeah.
And Ralph never sounded better, in my opinion. I think that was also Ralph's best sounding album. And I've been meaning to say this to Lee. You're going to be pleasantly surprised at some of my choices because you're all the tracks that I'm gung ho on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start off with Andrew. Go ahead. What comes in at number 10? I mean, I'll be interested in that.
All right. Well, another thing that pained me is the remixes that came out from this album. To me, were fire, and that was also a result of keeping up with the new Jack Swing era. So the remixes were much better, I think, in some cases, than the album version. But this is about the album, so I'm going to leave that alone.
It is the album, please.
Yes. So it pained me to leave off a song called Competition. So that's at number 11. So that's that. It pained me to leave it off. I still like it, but it's the last. Now, number 10, album version. Because if we're talking this remix, it's blasphemy. If it's the album, it's not
It's the
blasphemy.
album.
Any
Yeah.
Heartbreak. Any Heartbreak is number 10. Look
Wow.
at Bee's face.
Wow.
Any Heartbreak is number 10 for me.
Dying here.
Album.
I'm stunned. Absolutely. You're telling me from about, if you listen to Any Heartbreak from about 2 minutes in, and the key change, and they let Johnny just rip vocally for like 2 minutes, just incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's got to be the remix for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the remix. I'll be honest. I preferred the album mix.
Wow. Okay.
That's interesting as well. Yeah.
Well, anyway, because Ralph does, and I'll never let you down. Like he sings it a little differently at the second verse, whereas in the album version it's just normal. It says, and I'll never let you down, or whatever he says. So it's like it's different. And then of course Mike has a different rap verse in the remix. Anyways, you're gonna get a lot of this out of me. Anyways, yeah. They're
So
both
the title comes in at number 10. Wow.
number 10 to round it all out.
Okay. For me, DJ All Day says Skin Game.
That's the
Janitor.
one. That's the one. Brilliant. Thank you, DJ.
Thanks, DJ. Skin Game. Okay. Yeah, Competition was number 11 for me. So yeah, it had to just sneak it. It had to come in somewhere. But where it all started was number 10 for me. It's I think maybe because on the Home Again, I preferred, oh yeah, we feel so good to be back where we belong. So I think when I'm listening to Where It All Started, I'm unfortunately I'm having that back where we belong on my head, and it's like it almost just sounds like, oh man, yeah. So it's I don't want to compare the two tracks, but unfortunately, I've got the memories of the same type of vibe on both tracks. But yeah, that just sneaked in at number. It had to come in somewhere, so it's number 10. Where It All Started.
Where It All Started. Oh, I love that record.
Yeah, Stevie, it's you then, VJ. Then go back to Andrew because.
Number 11 was, well, there was two tracks that I felt just sounded really dated. They sounded like they were made in, I don't know, between 84 and 86. Number 11 was Competition. And the other one, I know some people think this is their favourite track. I can understand. But for me, I didn't really listen to it much. Super Lady didn't do much for me. I always kind of skipped it. I've tried to listen to it years on. I can listen to it now, but it's still not, doesn't do much for me. I don't know why.
Yeah. And it does sound like 85 kind of. It just sounds really old, yeah.
It might have been a track that they left off the last album and maybe updated it and recorded it for this album. Who knows? But that's my number 10.
It's the saxophone. Even though, actually, it's funny I say that. Both Competition and Super Lady have a saxophone. And I think the saxophone makes it sound dated because that was more of their mid-'80s sound.
I mean, think about it. I mean, the sax of My is still amazing, but it's just
that's a tenor. I mean, not the tenor, Sopranos. Either way, it's a different kind. That's the Kenny G sax, Whereas this is more of like the the funky, like, you know what I'm saying, like the get out of my dreams, get into my car kind of sax. You know what I'm saying? Like
it does take this by New Edition and Jelly Bean. Does it say New Edition and Jelly Bean? Let me just double check that. Yeah, it does. Super Lady. So it doesn't say that Jam and Lewis produced it.
yeah, they weren't. Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
that track sounded a little bit like 70s porn. It wasn't the one, man. It wasn't the one. And it wasn't the one.
Okay. I take your word for it, 1970s. Okay. What about yourself, VJ? What's
So the probability that me and Stevie are going to have a perfectly identical record is very low. But right now, our number 11 and number 10 is identical. I put Competition at number 11 and I put Super Lady at number 10. They both sound very dated and I don't think they fit with the rest of the flow of the album. Interestingly enough, they're both Jelly Bean Johnson tracks and I love Jelly Bean Johnson, but I'm looking at my list and all of the Jelly Bean Johnson tracks are at the bottom of this list. I'm just going to say that. It's not intentional. I just looked afterwards. I'm like, hold on a minute. All the Jelly Bean tracks are 11, 10, 9, and 8. But it is what it is.
okay? Andrew, what makes number 9 for you?
Again, if it was the remix, it'd be higher. But it's not the remix. So it is indeed Sorry You're Not My Kind of Girl at number 9. Because after hearing the remix and the percussion and just how like it just hits the drum beats, but this one's just more tame. Yes, the harmonies are amazing. It's like I mean, and that's the other thing. Again, even though you're number 11, this is my favorite album of all time. So I love all these tracks. It's just I have to rank them. And You're Not My Kind of Girl album version is at number 9. I said I want to say more about some of the other tracks that we talked about. We're going to save it. We're going to sprinkle it in, but that's my number 9 for now.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Shocked. Another shocker.
Another shocker. Well, okay, it's interesting. Yeah, Super Lady was my number 9. As I said, it's when you think of the, I think when I look at 7 upwards, those seem like they were recorded in a different era compared to Super Lady, where it all started in Competition. They felt as if they just didn't seem to kind of fit in a way. So yeah, Super Lady was. I can barely remember. I have to listen to the album and say, "Oh, they sang this," and so yeah, that's my number 9, Super Lady.
I'm surprised it went to. I thought it'd have been higher up that for you, Namdi.
Super Lady, no.
Wait, I want to jump in for a second. Super Lady, thank you for reminding me. Lyrically, I love the song. I think that the idea of like, you're more than an ordinary woman. You keep me running back to your love. You're a super lady. Like, I don't know. I'm sure we've all felt that, and I'm just like, you almost feel lucky to have a woman like that in your life. So for me, it's like you're a super lady. Like, let's not even front. Like you are the ish. So that's why for me, I like the song and I forgive the lack of polish and the datedness because directly by Ricky and Ralph. So again, lyrically, I think it needs to be celebrated. Thank you for reminding me, Namdi.
Okay. Stevie, number 9.
Number 9, I've gone for the big opener, the big live on stage of That's the Way We're Living. It's tough now because from 9 to 1, I love all these tracks. There's no. I love all these tracks. Really, it's going to be really difficult placing them. I don't know why it's at number 9. I do like the track. It's a good, really good, strong opener. Gets you in the mood for the album. So yeah, but it's only at number 9. Disappointingly, That's the Way We're Living. I think it's summed up. They were obviously on tour a lot at the time as well, so it makes sense that track why they did that. And what they were going through in the live. So, yeah, number 9.
Fair enough.
VJ, it's you next.
For me, I would, and this song, if remixers were allowed, this would probably make it to number 1 or number 2. But because it's not the remix, my number 9 is Crucial.
Wow.
Because Crucial, I think the album version is a little flat. And from what I understood at the time, Jam and Lewis were very influenced by Teddy Riley. So they were trying to create like that New Jack Swing sound. So they asked Jelly Bean to come up with them, the remix, which was what the remix became. And that is absolutely spectacular. And if the remix was allowed, it would be my number 1 or number 2 quite comfortably. But this Jelly Bean Johnson original makes it to number 9. And it hurts me saying that. It's horrible. It's just, you summed it up. Every song from 9 to 1 is just so good. This is like you get those things on Instagram or on social media where they say, "Hey, you have to pick between these 4 albums and you have to get rid of one forever." You bugger. It's like that. You can't do it. It's just painful. I'm in pain, but I've done it.
2 things. Number 1, yes, Crucial I'm with you on Crucial as far as number 1, number 2. But I actually want to go back to Derek Mallory. You talk about the Supernatural song from Ghostbusters 2. Summer of '89, before I heard the whole Heartbreak album, 2 of my other first impressions of New Edition were indeed the Crucial remix and then Supernatural. The DJ at this college station actually played them back to back. And They actually sound pretty like they're cousins, like they're siblings, like sonic siblings, because literally the remix of Crucial is sampled in Supernatural. You hear that like from Crucial in Supernatural. They're the same. Oh, and for me, Ralph's like shining moment. He sounds so good in that song. But yeah, the Crucial remix is just so key to my identity. Again, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. But yeah, Supernatural was like also like, because if you had On Our Own and then Supernatural and the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack, so that was like, I just want to give you props, Derek, for calling out that song. Okay.
Oh, but was it Crucial in a film? Wasn't it?
Yes, it was in License to Drive.
Yeah, with Heather Graham and
and the Corys.
Yeah, the Corys. Yeah.
The album version.
But what
I heard
was the Rob
when
Bass?
you heard that the first time.
Was the remix
So
for Rob Bass?
performed. So that was a live performance at the Soul Train Music Awards. So he came out and did that "I Want to Rock Right Now" with New Edition. And actually, that was the same ceremony that Whitney and Bobby actually met, which is really cool. The '88 ceremony. But yeah, no, that Crucial. I think that was the 3rd single after "If It Isn't Love," and then 4th. It was "If It Isn't Love," then "You're Not My Kind of Girl," then "Can You Stand the Rain," and then "Crucial," and then "Heartbreak" was the 5th. So even though I wasn't there, like I went back and educated myself. So.
Okay.
One last thing on Crucial, I was going to say. This is on the promo 12. There's a mix on here. It's called the dub. It's the dub version. Outrageously good. Just
what did he just return? Did you say
just too good.
ran for the side? Ran for the side.
He disappeared. He disappeared
Wait,
into
he
space.
was just running into space.
It's
Hey,
like
I tell you what was interesting.
a-
Seen a fridge in the New Edition album cover. All
right, check this
There
out.
he is, he's back.
First of all, I am not I don't have all these records like y'all did, but now I finally get to join the party. Check this out. So
Where'd
one of the
you get
first
these
things
from?
I did was, literally when I discovered the internet in 2000, I ordered. These are all only $5 at the time. So I've got. Sorry guys, I've got a Heartbreak. No, that's Can You Stand the Rain. I'm tripping. Then I've got the If It Isn't Love, right? Then I got that's BBD. Crucial. Here we go. So that's you. So me and V each have the exact same album, and yes, there's a dance remix on one, and then the dub version has that "Make It Funky."
James Brown.
Yeah. Sorry guys. And then what else? You're not my kind of girl. I told you I was gonna like freak out, and I'm freaking out right now. And then finally, Any Heartbreak, yo. So like I don't have a lot of like records because space is an issue, but you best believe I got all the singles. Whew. Okay. So to everyone watching, like you'll never see me like this again. Like this, just know
You're missing one. You are missing one, you know.
Which one?
Can You Stand the Rain? Where is it? Where's the 12? You need to get that.
Say it one more time. My internet dropped for some.
Can You Stand the Rain?
You're messing with me, aren't you? It's right here.
You've not got the 12. Where is it? All right, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I got it. All right. That was not your moment, but it worked.
Stevie just wanted to see it again.
We're live. We can't edit that out. Anyways, all right. Thank you for like suffering that interruption. But when you held up the 12-inch, I was like, I have the 12-inch. All right.
Very good.
Okay, good. What makes you? I think the number 7.
No, I think, are we 7 or 8?
8.
Oh, 8.
Yeah, we're 8. Yeah.
Number 8.
So my number 8 is Where It All Started From. And I just like that one because to me, it's the most unplayed. I feel like even though like it's on this album, I've never once heard it outside of my own house. I've never heard anyone play it that I like. If it's plays because I hit play on it, you know. But at the same time, I love the melody, and I even had visions of like making a movie, and I would actually use that song in the trailer. It'd be like, you know, and then just like show like New Edition as kids and everything. They already made the movie, but Where It All Started From would absolutely be like my soundtrack because it's such a happy, like bright sounding song, and like where ideas were born, like it's just so perfect. And then that Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, cool it now. I remember the first time I heard Candy Girl, I'm like, oh, so that's where it's from. And then when I heard Count Me Out, I'm like, oh, that's from Where It All Started From. Like I'm just telling you, like that out. And then also when I first heard it, because I'm all about associations, this is so nerdy. Like I actually had this like weird, like it's called ambrosia. It's like a dessert. Like it's like a, you know, like a dairy dessert. So every time I think of like that song, I think of that ambrosia 1990, winter 1990, eating it and hearing that song and going, wow, what a candified, bright, awesome song. So Where It All Started From. Wait, what's that?
Eating ambrosia. Where did you pull that one from?
I'm just being real. I'm just being real. And I love that people are calling out I'm coming home, because yes, it is. But anyway, that's that song for me. I sing it all the time to myself in the shower, whatever. And it is Where It All Started From. Any for me.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes, with the and one of my favorite, Coming Home is Asleep on the album. But yeah, okay. That's wait, what number did you just give?
Number 8. Andy.
So we're going to 8
Oh,
now. I think
Super late.
is
Yeah,
it
that
next, or is it Stevie?
no, but I already did number 8. But that's where I'm living, because I did number.
Oh, I'm
7.
last. I'm last. So now it's 7 now. Now it's 7.
You're
I was last.
you're the first one. You're the first.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
we're at
so
number
you're-
8. Guys, we're at number 8.
We're number 8.
We're number 8.
So my number 8 was That's Where We're Living, and I already said that. So then
You
VJ,
missed
what
one
was it?
out then.
No, I've done 8. So
What was your 10 and 9?
my 10 was Where It All Started,
Yeah.
Super Lady, then That's Where We're Living. So I've already done 3. And Stevie, you did 3. Who did Crucial?
That
was
crucial.
8.
That was number 9. That was my number 9.
Yeah, number 9. Okay. How many have you given, Andrew?
Let's
I've
just
only done
adjust-
3. I've done Heartbreak, You're Not My Kind of Girl, and I just dropped Where It All Started From.
So I've already done 3. And Stevie, how many
That's
have you done?
okay. That's okay, man. So
Your number, don't worry, Namdi.
your
number
number 8
8
was That's the Way We're Living?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, I talked about that it reminded me of the Heartbreak one.
Oh yeah, the Back Where We Belong.
Yeah, Back
And by
Where
the
We
way,
Belong.
Derek and Chakuma, first of all, I do think they were talking about Any, but I think they were also talking about maybe Full Force and even Troop, because like, and even 4x4. It could have been a lot of them, honestly, not just the New Kids. As far as the Biters and Where It All Started From, Imitation, whatever. Like, anyway, I'm sorry, I just had to like jump in there.
That's right. Okay. So I've already done. So okay. So it's Stevie. Maybe sorry. Yeah, Stevie, you can go for your number 8 then.
everything that Andrew said about where it all started, minus the ambrosia, that's me.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, again, it's a great track. It pains me to be at number 8, but it's such a funky melodic track. I think maybe it's at number 8 because of the song. It's not like, you know, it's a song about. It feels like a personal song to them, rather than a hit song sort of thing. So that's probably why it's quite up there. And it wasn't a single, was it? So, but it's still a great album cut. Still a great album cut.
VJ, you're number 8.
Yeah. My number 8 is my final Jelly Bean Johnson track, and That's the Way We're Living. I love it.
That's the way we live here.
I just love it, but something has to be at number 8, and that's what it is. So that's my number 8.
I thought maybe Crucial would have been above that for you.
I don't know. It's a difficult
Based
one.
on the strength of the vocal in Crucial and the lyrics.
Crucial. I don't think I've heard the album version more than 5 times in my life.
Maybe does the electric guitar spoil the album mix for you?
Yeah, that's it. It's not for me. The album mix is not for me.
That does spoil the track. I think it does spoil it now.
Because I try to listen to this album in its entirety, and then I listen to Crucial, and I think this is not the remix, and I'm just irritated listening to it, and I don't want to be, because it's still brilliant, but it's not the remix, which I love. So it's like,
I must admit, I did hear the remix to Crucial before I heard the album mix. I did hear.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, did they play the remix on License to Drive as well? I think it was the remix on License. Was it the album mix?
The album mix.
Okay. All right.
So Andrew, number 7.
Number 7, surprisingly, because all y'all hated it, but I think we're seeing a trend, because I like maybe the sappy ballads more than you guys do, is Super Lady. And again, I think the reason why I picked it at number 7 was because it's a throwback to the new edition before Johnny. I could actually imagine it was recorded before Johnny got there. And it's just Ricky and Ralph doing their thing. And lyrically, it's a song that I can relate to. So, yeah, that's my number 7. And that's all she wrote.
Okay. It's funny that we were talking to VJ about where he put Crucial, because that made my number 7. As it came out, and you know, I liked the performance on the Soul Train, because I liked the tent as it sort of interlude where they were dancing, and I thought they wanted to really let people know, look, this is who we are. We are the Modern Temptations, and we've got our routine. And that's, I remember when I interviewed Donnie Simpson, and he was saying that actually the one thing that he always remembered, that when they were doing this show, performing, and right in front with New Edition, watching and learning, and that really set them apart, that they had their routine, they had their steps, instead of just being vocalists. When you saw them on Soul Train doing their thing, and they had competition with Troop. You know, Troop really gave them a run for their money, and I still think Troop were better. New Edition, Brooke Payne gave them that collective, like, we're going to go after we're going to be like the Temptations, and so that's the one thing. And so Crucial, that's that performance was great. This nice track, not a powerful track, but it was a nice track. So that makes Stevie Wonder.
Number 7. There's a formula, a drum sound formula that Jam and Lewis always used, and they were so good at it. And how they varied it up using that drum sound. Talk about the 808 drum machine. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Human League Human, which is an incredible track. There's a track on the Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation album called Lonely, which has got that floating mid-tempo drum machine that a lot of people don't rate. I think it's an amazing track. There's a couple of tracks on this album that use the 808 drum machine. It's killing me to be at number 7, but I'm coming home. It's an incredible track. It's an incredible track. I don't know why it's a number 7, but maybe because the other track that uses the 808 is a lot further up, and I didn't want them to clash. Maybe that's the only reason why. But it's a fantastic. It's a killer track.
Yeah, I mean, as I said,
Sorry, it's number 7.
Solid tune.
But, nothing. I can't. I think I appreciated it more growing up than I probably did at the time. I appreciate it more now because it has stood. It does. It stood the test.
Yep, exactly, Lee. My feelings are hurt. I'm actually holding my heart a little bit. Like, what at number 7? Like, I'm coming home. She's like, come on.
Stevie, come home.
You mentioned Lonely. Dude, that song
That
is perfection.
Thank you.
You cannot fault that song. I feel like listening to it right now, but that would be totally inappropriate.
Lonely and Can You Stand the Rain duke it out constantly as my personal favorite song of all time. Dead ass. I mean, and Can You Stand the Rain, like, as all time. Like, literally, it depends on what day you ask me what my favorite song is. But I've now decided I've just settled on Can You Stand the Rain, but Lonely is like right there. And then right after that, we're on with Human Nature. But yeah.
When we did the podcast on Janet, Namdi and Jackie McGee were like just completely dismissed Lonely. And I'm like, what? How can you dismiss? But saying that, it is more of a soul track. It's the track that soul people will connect to, I think.
I think, Andrew, I don't know if you recall this. We were listening to this somewhere. We were in the same place in London, and we listened to Lonely. We didn't say a word, because we didn't want to. Everybody just shut up.
Yes,
we're listening to music now. Don't disturb the groove.
1,000%.
It was perfection. Lonely is, oh my god.
There's a part where it's like they come in the background, like da 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 da, be there. Like, sorry, I'm being such a nerd, but like it's just the Spanish guitar, the ooh, what I'm talking about, and then like the whole thing is it is spine tingling, misty beauty. It is a perfect song.
Right. Whatever you just said, that.
Yeah, man.
VJ, Stevie just did his coming home. So which
number are we on?
7.
Number 7. My number 7. It's horrible, but we've done all the Jelly Bean Johnson tracks. We've done the Student. Now it's down to the Masters. They're all Jam and Lewis tracks now, and it's this one. Any Heartbreak, guys. I absolutely love it. There's this weird 12-inch here, which it's only got one mix on it. And I always found these 12 inches, they're interesting ones because it's just got one mix, 5 minutes, 1 second, and 5 minutes, 1 second, same track on each side. But my favorite mix on this is the faux live version, which is on this 12. Very, very nice. Love it. Any Heartbreak, and I want to put it higher. I want to put them all higher, but I can't, so that's where it is. Number 7.
Did you prefer the remix then to the album mix?
I can listen to both. I think they're both fantastic. They're both interchangeable. It doesn't matter. I listen to either of them. Happy with both of those.
I see a question from Joe Perry, which is cool because I think it's the name of a member of like Aerosmith, I want to say. But anyway, which version is my favorite? It's because
Any Heartbreak,
it's the video version. And the reason why is because it's produced by the Throwdown Twins, but I think Wolf and Epic actually, or at least Epic, I think, was on there. And when I saw the video and I saw like just how, it was a star-studded video, it just gave me such an impression in the white background, and they're wearing the white, the yellow tops and the black, and she got it going on. That is my favorite version because it's like almost proto BBD because it's like there's a little bit more of a hip hop edge to it. And then one more thing, I have a 12-inch of You're Not My Kind of Girl that actually has like Bobby like samples mixed into it. I've never heard it anywhere else except my copy. So I feel like I have something pretty special because it goes, I don't know what would you do? Like, I don't know what's wrong with that, brother. You know what I'm saying, Mike? And he goes, I don't know, what would you do? And then Bobby goes, get busy, in there. It's like, it's pretty dope. So I might have to like send you guys a copy of that. But anyway, I just had to like throw that out there. There's so many cool remixes and stuff.
And
I'm doing that.
and you're number 6. You're number 6 as well, Andrew.
All right, cool. Sorry,
Back
guys.
to you.
Number 6 is actually crucial. And one thing I'll say about the album version versus the remix is the album version is tamer, it's cleaner in a way. Like it's just like the remix is like just fire and dirty. If you ever see me on a dance floor, forget it. Get it out of the way. Like I'm about to just go off, right? Whereas the album, and what I like is the different bass lines, because on the album version, the bass line's like dun 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 dun, right? But the remix is dun 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 dun. And the thing is, when you watch the concert, like the NE concert that came out on YouTube, oh my god! First of all, anyway, so the concert version, there's both, right? The official music video for Crucial is the remix one, where it's a dun 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 dun, dun, and the drum beat is more that dun 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 from like Bobby Brown. They bit it. They bit the Don't Be Cruel drum beat, but on the 88 one, it's the dun 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 dun, and it's just like it's slower, and it's actually just a better performance. And they're wearing the Jiffy Pop metallic blue suits, so I like them both. And Crucial, I think, ranked the highest out of all of us as far as the album version, I think, for me. But again, if it was a remix, forget it. We're talking number 2. Not to spoil, but I just did. Thank you for letting me again gush.
No, that's good. No, yeah, as I said, I can't top what Andrew just did, but for my number 6, it was, yeah, I think the Any Heartbreak. You know, the video was, at the time, it was just legendary, because when you had, you know, Michael did it with Liberian Girl, and that was one of the big. I don't know if that was one of the first ones to just get all the celebrities just to show up and stuff like that. I wonder if he set the trend, and they sort of. And they just picked it up and said, let's just get these celebs in there. But just seeing them do that dance step, and Theo was massive at the time with the Cosby Show. But it was yeah, definitely a different type of track. Started with Johnny, you know, like you need to get Johnny in there somehow. And I think when they came out with the Legacy tour, I saw them singing, doing the Johnny's part.
Oh yeah,
they were doing that. Did you go to the Legacy tour?
Hell yeah! There's actually a clip of me, you know, on Instagram where we're doing the "Beware of Any Heartbreak," and I actually like put the camera on myself, and we're like belting it, like, you know, in the crowd. Yo, like, yes. I'm sorry.
yeah. No. But as I said, you've got to be. I think it's, you know, yeah, just hearing Johnny just you know, belting out his vocals on that, and it's a fun song actually. It's strange because it sounds so different than Super Lady and Where It All Started. Just this, it felt like, hey, Carell, how you doing? And so we've got Carell from
Kids at Work.
Kids at Work. He says, "Why wasn't I invited?" Goodness, yeah. So for number 6, for me was Any Heartbreak.
Nice.
Stevie, what about yourself?
I feel like I'm getting some much needed granddad training in tonight. I feel like we're babysitting a hyperactive kid with Andrew Knight this evening.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're babysitting a hyperactive kid. You know, has he had that broken this evening? I wonder. Yeah. But number 6 is it is Any Heartbreak. I think for me, what let the remix down was the drum sounds. I didn't really like them drum sounds in the remix for some reason. But the album mix, like you say, the key change from about 2 minutes in, where they just let Bobby, where Johnny Gill just rip vocally. It's an amazing 2 minutes. I mean, the 2 minutes before, I think they're having a lot of fun. Sounds like they're having a lot of fun on the track, and then they just let Johnny go, and it's just incredible. But yeah, number 6 for me.
Okay, VJ, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is "You're Not My Kind of Girl," which is that cover. but the mix I listen to a lot on here, and you might notice this about my musical persuasions, I listen to a lot of dubs and instrumentals and bonus beats. The bonus beats of "You're Not My Kind of Girl," come on, son, it's so good. So unfortunately, I have to put it something somewhere, and "You're Not My Kind of Girl" is my number 6.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Over to you for number 5.
Right.
Number
Number 5. Now we're getting serious. We're at the top 5. So basically, lyrically, visually, musically, when I hear lyrics like, we're working hard, we're striving for perfection because that's the way we're living, and then they follow that up with perfection's hard, that's why we're working overtime, that's the way we're living for you. Like, that's literally kind of my mindset. Like, I feel like they're just so locked in and focused on being as dope as possible. And this is where I call out a friend of mine, Carrie, New Edit 617. I think it was Carrie who actually pointed that out about the lyrics, about excellence. And that's what made New Edition so dope. Like, even though, yes, Troop were more explosive dancers, what New Edition brought to the table was a precision and a crispness and a disciplinedness that came from Uncle Brook. So that, I think, is what made New Edition different from everything that he did. No intended for Bobby's dancers. But for me, that's the way they're living, especially when I saw that live version, like at the YouTube video that came out. It just, I mean, my God, and that's even longer. Like, actually go like, say time, and they're like, there's no better time. It's just like, it's just the perfect album opener. And I've actually liked it more now than I did even back then. That's why it's risen up all the way to number 5, because whenever I need a motivation and just to like keep going, I listen to That's the Way We're Living.
Wow.
That's the way we live. Okay. Compared to oh yeah, we feel so good.
Oh, don't get me started. Okay, first of all, oh yeah, it feels so good is the music video that should have happened that never happened. Like, can you imagine how epic that music video would have been? I mean, come on. They were physically at their prime. Bobby is just swaggalicious out of the, like, he's like, feeling so long. It's time to move. It's time to make you move. And he's like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
Ronnie's got 2 verses. Johnny just, anyways, no, that I listen to that song all the time. To all the time. So no, oh yeah, it feels so good is the ultimate New Edition concert opener song. It is. That's why Living is dope. But oh yeah, it feels so good. You start. You said, I said, don't get me started, and I started. But I'm with you on that one.
Is that song better than your best songs off this album?
No,
Just asking.
but it's probably my favorite up tempo.
Okay. In the new year, we have to do Home Again. Because,
oh God.
yeah. So in the new year, we'll get a chance to do that. My number 5. I wish it could be higher, because I'm a killer for a slow song. Because I wish it could be higher. This is, if there was a song that you'd say, if somebody says, did Jim and Jam and Terry Lewis do anything on this album? I would say, oh yeah. If you listen to this track, then you say, oh yes, this is Jam and Lewis. It could have been a track that they could have done for Janet or Human League or any of those groups. And it's I'm Coming Home. It's just, there's signature all over it. Ralph was just on another level with this whole stuff.
That's quite high for you, that, Namdi. It's quite.
As I said, I love my slow songs, because slow songs are like wine. They take their time, so you can enjoy them much longer. And they don't get dated as long. You can keep them longer in your list. But I've got other tracks that are a little bit higher than that. So that's it. My number 5. Yes, at least it's in your top 5. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Stevie.
This track has to be my top 5. I consider it. If you were putting a New Jack Swing top 50 together, or if you was putting like a top 20 New Jack Swing remixes, it would be high up as well, either album mix but it's part of New Jack, so it's crucial. That's what it's got to be for me. My top 5. It's just that opening line, hard beat is strong. It's just it's a killer. It's just unforgettable. I know what you're saying about the album mix, but
which one's that?
Crucial. But the song
Okay.
and that vocal, it's part of New Jack Swing history. So it had to be in my top 5. So it's at number 5.
I want to jump in for a second. I feel like that song was almost like Ralph's that was like a proto solo track, because it's all Ralph, that song. Even like the background vocals, you can tell it's all him. So I feel like that was like the Ralph that could have been in terms of like the solo artist, before they kind of switched it up to more sensitivity. But yeah, I love that. And that again, the remix, forget it. The scatting that Ralph does at the end, that hey, and down to the bone, and go da 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 da. Like Ralph is just going off, I just feel like Anyways, all right. Sorry.
You're doing a lot of singing tonight, Andrew. Do you want to tell us about that? Do you want to tell us about the audition you did in Minneapolis?
Yes.
And what happened? You got to tell the viewers that. I remember that story. I've never forgot it. Go tell the viewers your singing audition and what happened.
I'm gonna save that for when we get higher.
Okay.
I might do a little bit more. I will.
Okay. VJ, what's number 5?
Number 5 for me is Boyz II Men.
Wow.
Love this song. I think Johnny sounds fantastic on it. Remix by Louis Silas Jr. The remix is brilliant as well.
Great remix.
We shouldn't talk about remixes. It's different
still a
party.
great remix, isn't it?
It's a fantastic remix. Johnny Gill on anything is great, and he's perfect on Boyz II Men. So, and the fact that the group Boyz II Men named themselves after this song is, I just find that interesting. I mean, that group, Boyz II Men were massively successful. They're named after a New Edition song. Just that as a sentence, how crazy does that sound? It's amazing.
Their name before
That's
that,
my number
attraction. They were unique attraction before Boyz II Men, and I think Boyz II Men is like a good, great name. So I just wanted to throw that out there for the trivia.
Definitely.
Top 4, Andrew.
Oh God. Okay. Number 4. Look, the party's over. It's been a long vacation, and your fans are waiting to see you again. But anyway, gotta do this one more time from the top, and let's get busy. And then hit the tape. Anyways, If It Isn't Love. So If It Isn't Love at number 4 is like surprisingly low, but that should also tell you that it's nothing but heat after this. So If It Isn't Love is amazing, and I got the 12-inch, and it's just that one song that for some reason never sounds old to me. It always sounds fresh and invigorating. And if I heard a remix out somewhere, I would be dancing till I couldn't breathe anymore. I need an oxygen tank. It's like I'm doing it. I'm doing it all. I'm just like, remember that moment, Vij, after the concert where me and Brandon did the thing in the garage?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah. So If It Isn't Love is just a classic, a timeless classic, and just such a great homage, even to the Jackson 5 with it. I remember my mom said, that sounds like Jackson 5, like maybe she'll take me back. Like it's just so much heart and soul went into that, and the vocals, you guys get the point. All right, If It Isn't Love.
If It Isn't Love. Okay. My number 4, actually, when I first heard this on the radio, I didn't know who sang it. And I thought it was a duet like Ashford and Simpson or Renee and Angela. I was thinking, this a man and a female doing a duet until I got the album and so it was Ralph and Johnny. because this was Ralph's, and this is Boys to Men. I wish it could have been higher, but I think I heard the story that Johnny didn't want to sing it. He was almost as if they had to. He didn't think it was a good song. I mean, what was the story, Andrew? What was
Yeah, no, I think it was literally the first song, because when he showed up, Johnny was brought in by BBD to replace Ralph, because the rumor was Ralph was planning on going solo. He was seriously considering it, which would have left them alone. So Mike, being the smart one, is like, yeah, we got to figure this out. So basically, when Ralph shows up to Minneapolis, and this is in the movie too, he had no idea Johnny was going to be there. So literally, he's like, who y'all didn't what? So basically, while they're beefing over there, whatever, Jam and Lewis is like, hey, we got the song for you. And it's just him by himself in the booth. And he's just like, I thought this was going to be like a group thing. So anyways, he laid down the track, didn't feel it. But of course, yeah, it was a legendary track that totally showcases Johnny's heavy artillery magnificence. But yeah, that's the story. It was the first track I think recorded in the sessions.
Yeah, this is funny. Johnny has. Yeah, so that's my number 6. Beautiful track, and then the fact that one of the biggest selling R&B groups of all times have been named after a song. I mean, that's just on another level. So, yeah. Okay, Stevie, what's number 4 for you?
What was your number 4, Namdi?
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men. Oh, interesting. Number 4 was If It Isn't Love. Yeah, it's very hard to place these.
Where are we getting right now?
Very hard to. How do you place If It Isn't Love at number 4? Because it could be number 1, easily be a number 1 try. So, again, it's a classic. It's a bona fide classic. But
is that the? I mean, if we're thinking New Edition, is that the song that comes to mind anytime if they had to perform one song somewhere? Would that be it?
They are well known for that record.
But I think for me, the song that I think of when I think of New Edition, I think of Crucial for some reason. Crucial just excites me in a particular way. And I think of New Edition as a very exciting, vibrant, energetic group, and Crucial makes me feel that way. But if it isn't Love is obviously a bigger song, more popular. But
yeah, I think if they were called to perform tomorrow, and said you just got one song. I think that's
probably that one. Yeah, you're probably
with the
right.
routine and everything. Everyone knows that. Okay, yeah, okay. As I said, when we're getting to this is the cream of the cream, so it's hard to pick. So, but VA, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Where It All Started.
Wow.
And I put that there.
That high up.
This song makes me feel a particular way. It makes me feel New Edition. When I hear this, I'm thinking New Edition. I'm excited. I want to be a 7th member of the group.
Yes.
I want to be in the band. I want to join in. I'm like, Where It All Started. I sing with my remote in my hand. It's one of those songs. It just makes you feel a particular way. So for that reason, I put that at number 4. I just love the energy.
No, yeah, okay. I don't know if Cool It Down. I think that it is in line with the routines from that. There's with the other videos. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love what he said. I think it depends on the context, because I was just about to say, exactly. I think in the US, New Edition was well known, in the 80s, and Cool It Now, indeed. I think if you're talking about a general music fan who's not even into R&B, Cool It Now was a ginormous pop hit. So I think that, while I do think If It Isn't Love is our signature, I think if you're talking to a regular, 40, 50, 60-year-old who's not into R&B, they probably know Cool It Now in the US. They're both
and Mr. Telephone Man as well. That's
another
one. I love that song. If you think of New Edition song, you have to pick one out of everything they've ever done. Mr. Telephone Man would be up there too, I think.
It is, because Bobby's on there. And again, I think not for some reason, I feel it's terrible. But anyway, even when New Edition get back together, it was Bobby and his group New Edition, like the American media definitely put Bobby as the lead, and they would kind of ignore Ralph. It's crazy to me. Like mainstream, you guys read between the lines, American media would say Bobby's the leader of the group, you know? And it's like, no, Bobby's the one you know, and that's why you're calling him the leader. So, but yeah.
Yeah, we have that with Robbie Williams and Take That, right?
Oh,
Same. It's the same concept. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good comparison.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Perfect comparison.
Okay, Andrew. So we're down to the top three. What's number three for you?
I'll never live this down, but I'm going to do it anyway. These are the things that change boys to men. Sorry. Oh, it's terrible. I'll never do that again. Ever. People in the comments like, Andrew, never do that again. I'll be like, you know what? You're right. I'll never do that. It's kind of better in my head. Anyway, voice to men. I'll never forget, again, watching him do that live. There's a music VHS called Past and Present, New Edition Past and Present. And the whole like 6-minute set of him doing that, where Michael Bivins introduces him and then he just comes out and does it. Just seeing the other four in formation, just doing their choreography, coming in like da 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 da, where Johnny's just going off. And then in the middle, he just does, every time he's had a little breakdown, he's just doing sorry. Every time he does a breakdown, it's always different. He never does it the same. Oh man, Boys to Men, like even when the album came out, I was always a bit of a contrarian. Everyone was about Can You Stay in the Rain? I'm like, no, Boys to Men, that's the one. So Boys to Men has actually been number one in the past for me. The whole thing is just perfect, man. And when they did the Legacy tour, still it was, Legacy tour. No, Culture tour. They did it on the Culture tour. I just felt so fortunate because again, it was the two of them, two members on each riser, and then Johnny in the middle just doing his thing. It's an amazing song. So I could say more, but I've already said a lot. So,
so that's your number three.
At number three.
Okay. My number three, I would have to do. Yeah, I have to go through the as I said, the iconic video of them rehearsing, and and I think Jam and Loose Holes, Jam himself loves the track, and anywhere they go, that's like, okay, that's their stuff, and that's Is It In Love. It's iconic video. I hated the fact that Beyonce did her cover version of it. I just but anyway, I just loved. I can still remember the track and the video back when I was in secondary school. Is It In Love is and then still have Ralph's leading it. I didn't realize Johnny couldn't really dance, but they focus so much on the others that you don't notice that Johnny was struggling to dance. But yes,
Namdi, I got to jump in for a second. So one of the best videos to watch, if you haven't already seen it, is when you watch them do If It Isn't Love for the first time on Soul Train. It's a very grainy, bad audio video, but when you just see them in their kind of dark, almost like Nehru collar suits, and they're just like, they're full of so much energy. You can tell, I think Lusky Car is like just jumping in the crowd. Like they are just on fire. And it's literally like, is summer of 88. And they're on there and they're doing it. Is like New Edition at their absolute ultimate, untouchable, no one can F with us prime. And it's such an amazing moment. So if you like New Edition, I mean, if it doesn't love that much, find that video and watch it. I'm gonna just send it to you. It's like being in a time machine. It's so cool, and the choreography is sick. All right.
Yeah. Is It In Love? And the thing, as I said, that separated them from the rest. What was happening around that time? Stevie, number three for you.
I'm under no illusion that this is probably the best track on the album. It's just that the two that I put after it probably mean a bit more to me, but in terms of like production, lyrics, vocals, songwriting, it's flawless. It's a Quiet Storm classic. It's Can You Stand the Rain? It's at number three, and like I said, it's it's the best track on the album by a mile. But just the other two that I put before it just mean a bit more to me. That's all. That's the only reason why it's not a number one. No doubt it might be number one for a few other people on here, but let's see. It's number 3 for me.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. VJ, what's your 3?
My number 3 is a song called "Can You Stand the Rain" as well. It's brilliant. Everything you said, Stevie, it probably is the best song on the album. Johnny Gill's vocals on that, when he does his little bit, holy cow, what is that? It's just magic. And yeah, that's my.
I just remembered, you know, the that film they made, that scene in that film, the way they recreated it in the studio where they were all singing it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, any Heartbreak.
It
Okay.
reduced me to tears, that, to be quite honest. It did. Actually, I remember that. It reduced me to tears. The other bit in that is how they remade, the album cover that Nambi's sat in front of there. How they remade that. They remade it to perfection. I was just blown away. How they got the outfits right. The scene where they must have went back to the scene at a certain time of night to get that feeling. The car, brilliant. Just iconic, absolutely iconic.
Yeah. And DJ All Day said Johnny danced like his feet are cross-eyed, but he makes up for that with his vocals.
Yeah,
he can sing. He can sing. You don't have to be good at everything.
But you have to say he did work on it when he did Love You the Right Way.
Oh yeah,
Rub You the Right Way. The fact that he just says, "I'm just gonna start to probably do the whole thing." I mean, I'm like, okay. It did seem odd because he was so powerful vocally, and he just felt as if, okay, I spent the last year learning how to dance, so you got to. But he put himself out there, so you got to give it to him.
Yeah,
you got to give it to him. So okay,
Here
so
we
we're down to the final 2.
So yeah, checkmate. Can You Stand the Rain does have one of the best remixes. I think it was Jeff Lorber, actually, I think, who did that. But that said, Make It Make Sense. Even though Can You Stay in the Rain is my favorite song of all time, Make It Make Sense. As Jode said, Johnny, I feel like when he does that, whoa, he's like holding up a giant, like, I don't know, like just holding up something like Atlas. And he's just like holding the group, with his vocals while like Ralph sprinkling, Can You Stand the Rain? Like, it's just perfect. So that's why, amongst other things, Can You Stand the Rain is actually my number 2 favorite. Say enough about this song. I will say this though, I've kept this to myself. I'm going to say it in this room, in this forum, and I'm not crazy, but I have both Samsung and an Apple iPhone, and I use Apple Music. I tell you, there is a difference between the mixes of If It Isn't Love and Can You Stand the Rain, depending on what phone you have. So if you listen to,
what does that mean?
I'll definitely.
They're 2 different songs.
No. I'll definitely go to no. In terms of the phone, so if you listen to Can You Stand the Rain on Apple Music with your Droid, it's the album version. It's like you hear like the birds chirping, and then it just goes in, right? If you listen to it with your iPhone, at least my iPhone, there's no birds. It just goes right into the boom, and then the actual like the way it's mixed, the vocals. Certain parts of the harmonies are brighter and better on the Apple iPhone. I know I sound crazy, but I can't. I myself, I've never put it in the group because I don't want to deal with it. But like I'm just telling you guys here right now, if you have both phones, try it. And if it isn't love, same thing. But harmonies, yes, I sound like I have a tinfoil hat. I'm telling you.
Just a wee bit.
Just try it, okay? At least again, this is my iPhone. This is my Droid. They are different mixes of each song. And
I can see Andrew by Area 51. Yes, I can see the alien.
I have a question for you, Andrew. Where did all the birds go?
I don't know. They're not there. Anyways, I hope you guys got the point. Can you say my number 2?
Okay.
Great choice.
Thank you for letting me get that out.
Okay. Yeah, number 2 for me is I said earlier that he gets me crazy and yeah.
Uh,
Oh, because yeah. So number 2 for me was I remember seeing the video and I said at the beginning of the show that I was like, "Who's this guy?" Just takes Bobby's spot and is standing in front. But apart from the white gloves, I did love the song. I love the I love how Ralph's vocals and "You're Not My Kind of Girl." I just love the harmonies, the excitement, the fact that even the video, I could just see the video of them dancing and. But as I said, BBD at the back, almost foreshadowing the fact that these two in front, they're just going to leave you guys, have their albums, you're just going to be the pips at the back. But thank God it didn't work out like that. But I just loved the song, loved the track, and um, yeah, just the whole vibe. You're not my kind of guy. Haven't normally it's like I'm the guy for you. Come to me, and he's like, no, sorry, you're not my type of. Oh, I'm like, what? So that's an interesting track and stuff. Love, yeah. So that's my number 2. Is it you're not my kind of girl,
Wow.
Mr. Stevie?
I was talking about the 808 drum machine earlier. The other track that had this drum machine was Boys to Men. And plus the song, it's just, I think the song's quite deep as well. And, as you're growing up from a teenager into your adult years, we can all relate to that. And I guess I've grew up with that. And that's why it means a lot to me, that song. That's probably why it's so high up. But I listen to it over and over and over again. Absolutely love that record so much.
The original or the remix? What do you
Both of them, both. But I'd say the original has the 808 drum machine in it. The remix, probably brought it right bang into 1990 when it came out 91. So, yeah, number 2 for me, easily.
Yeah,
Great song.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, that it was number. It was number 4 for me, Boys to Men, but it could easily been higher.
Gotta jump in for a
GG.
second though. Sorry. The remix of Voice to Men, it feels like it was meant to come out in '89. Like I think that had New Edition stayed together longer after Heartbreak, that would have been like the 6th single, and then it would have been like, because every single they had for Heartbreak was a remix, because it just had that same vibe. So by the time it came out in '91, it was just kind of like, okay, like it. And then they had the New Edition like Greatest Hits Volume 1. There was no Volume 2 or 3 or 4. Like I think they were kind of notorious for starting something they couldn't finish, or saying we're gonna have a movie. They're talking about the movie in like 91. Didn't come out till 2017. So I'm not bagging on New Edition. I'm just saying that I just felt like it was almost like there's another universe where I think that was a single, it had a video, and it came out in like the summer of '89. That's when I think it should have come out. I just had to get that out there. I've never said it's like today, but I figured this is my window.
It was the last single on the album, though, wasn't it? I'm sure it was the last single.
I don't think it was ever even a single. I think it was. I mean, it was a single in '91, like after like when it came out for that Greatest Hits. But I don't think it was ever like a single during the run. At least as far as I know. Anyway, I just had to like get that out there. But I love it. I love that song.
Yeah, 91. The single was 91.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting question. I don't know if anybody can answer that. Does anyone know if Boys to Men originally was written for Ralph?
Didn't know that.
I didn't
It'd
know
be
that.
hard to imagine because, I mean, unless you have to sing it, but yeah.
It suited Johnny perfectly. I mean, Johnny owned that song. He owned that song. That was, But who knows?
That could make sense, though. That could also be why Johnny felt weird, because he's like, why am I recording this myself? Maybe Rob was supposed to be in there, because Johnny, I think, he wasn't trying to be like all out in front. He was just there to round out the group, but he ended up becoming like kind of like the number, like it was like the twin cannons. Although Ralph was the lead, I think he had a higher profile than I think he maybe thought. he was going to have once Ralph was staying in the group.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good question.
Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
Me, I think.
Oh, I know Johnny. I mean, Johnny.
My number 2 would maybe be my number 1. Maybe, but I love this. If It Isn't Love is perfect. I love this album cover, this 12-inch cover. I think they look so cool on that. The back of it's just like a window with like smoke. I love it. I love the art from the 80s and 90s. But If It Isn't Love is perfect. The low-key version, I love that little ad-libbing bit that they do at the end. It just kills me. I wish there was more of that. So reluctantly, If It Isn't Love is number 2. And I will explain why I've chosen something else for my number 1. But it's between these 2 tracks.
Okay. So, drum roll for Andrew, but you need to go from 10 down to 1.
10 out,
Right.
yeah, 10 out of 10.
So we go number 10,
Yeah.
Mini Heartbreak. Number 9, You're Not My Kind of Girl. Number 8, Where It All Started From. Number 7, Super Lady. Number 6, Crucial. Number 5, That's the Way We're Living. Number 4, If It Isn't Love. Number 3, Voice to Men. Number 2, Can You Stand the Rain? Which means number 1, and I'll never do this again. I just called you up because you've been on my mind. Woo! So I can tell you what I feel. Ooh, I'm missing you. Save tomorrow for me because I'm coming home to you. Oh, girl, my baby. OMG. That song is my favorite. And I have definitely annoyed anyone who will listen, including Brooke Payne on his Facebook page, when I would, are you putting Coming Home into the set? Because apparently, according to legend, it had to have happened. They did I'm Coming Home on some legs of the Heartbreak tour. And I know that because there was a BET documentary, of course, happened after the fact. I found it on YouTube called New Edition in Their Own Words. And I actually posted it on my Instagram as well. There's an outro where you actually see them like performing I'm Coming Home, like in rehearsal. And it just sounds so good. Like Ricky's going like, tomorrow, right? And Ralph's going, I've been made of you. And I'm coming home, my baby, to you. And he goes, to you. Like it's different, right? And then what I love about the album or the song is how everyone like gets a chance to sign. Like Ricky, he does a little lip, right? And then like Johnny like comes in, away too long, right? And then tomorrow. That's like that's Ralph. And then like it's just and Ralph's voice on that track, he's just so I'm coming home to you. And then the keys. If you listen to like the it's probably Jam playing the bass keys on that track with your headphones on, forget it. It's just like he's actually doing like crazy like stuff in bass. So all of that to say, as I calm the hell down, I'm coming home. Even though Candy Stand the Rain is my favorite track of all time, for some reason on the album, I'm Coming Home is my favorite New Edition song on the album and my favorite New Edition song of all time.
Well, I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that performance coming either.
Brilliant.
That was the audition, by the way. Still didn't make it. Go figure.
And I don't know. You guess it. Said he can be crazy and right because you mentioned that Can You Stand the Rain is your favorite. I'm Coming Home is my favorite. One of them's your favorite. Both of them are your favorite, and they're both of your best songs of all time. Whichever way it is, it makes sense. It makes sense in your head. That's all that matters.
All that matters.
No, that was good. That was really good.
I don't think we're going to top that one tonight, guys. I really don't.
No. Yeah, we. If it was the Bobby album, I probably would have sang. But I know how it is to be passionate about a track or an album or stuff like that. And as I
Funny you should say that, Namdi, because Stevie was saying that's what we're going to be doing next. I'm just saying. You need to sing again.
singing. So if I go to 10, if I go from 10 downwards, where it all started, then number 9 was Super Lady, and number 8 was That's the Way We're Living. 7 was Crucial. 6, Any Heartbreak. 5, I'm Coming Home. 4, Boys to Men. 3 is It Isn't Love. 2 was You're Not My Kind of Girl. And I think I remember back in the day when I used to do a poll, I could put anything, prerogative, I could do sensitivity, any track, my. Once Can You Stand the Rain was included, everyone would vote for it. In fact, I had to stop putting it out there because if I even it was it beats any song, and it doesn't matter whatever song it is, if it's on there, everyone votes for it. And so I remember telling Jam, yeah, I had to retire this song from my poll, and he laughed and he says thanks for the shout outs and stuff. But Can You Stand the Rain? It's just one of those tracks where Terry just writing those lyrics, taking his time on this, just trying to understand. It was, as I said, it was a very different type of track compared to when you think about what we heard from Jodeci and the rest. And just having all of them, Ralph and Ricky and Johnny, just singing a track there. So yeah, as I said, it's not just because on the album, it's just stood the test of time as well. So, can you stand the rain? And yeah, and I actually, as I said, I actually like Ricky's vocals, and I think
Yes.
he needed to do BBD just for us to appreciate him. I think we didn't appreciate him as much in the group, and I think if we go listen to the BBD and see him sing there, you can come back and appreciate him, and that's probably why when they did the Home Again album, he pretty much was one of the more prominent singers on that album.
So fun fact, I heard One More Day actually was supposed to be Ralph, but I think it was sad occasion. I think Ralph's mom wasn't feeling well, and actually she did pass, like I think literally like when they performed in the Billboard Music Awards. So it was only 5 of them and Ralph was gone, and Bobby and Ricky filled in for Ralph. But I think Ricky ended up recording the song at the session and just stayed Ricky because they felt like, you know what, he sounds good on it, and he does sound great on it. But when you listen to like the backgrounds on One More Day, it's Ralph in the back. So I just want to put that out there, and I would love to hear a version with Ralph, or maybe both of them sharing it like they did on Still in Love. But Rick, oh my God, I actually had like a thing I was going to say about each member, and I'm just going to do really quick because it's epic, right? So anyway, I'm so sorry. Continue. I'll say that for later.
Go ahead.
No,
Right,
do
cool.
it.
You froze for a second.
Rick is the cool one. Like Rick is just cool. He brings a cool energy. I feel like Ronnie was more mysterious. He has got the Christopher Walken eyebrows. There's nobody else in the world who looks like Ronnie DeVoe. And I think he makes the group stand. You see Ronnie in the back? Oh, that's New Edition. You just know it's New Edition or it's DVD. You got Johnny, who's the heavy artillery. He's just like, he's the nuke. Like if you guys got to blow people away, you get Johnny. Bobby was the electricity. He was the fire. He was that. Ralph is just like the star. Like he's like the star, the identity, the voice of the New Edition, the identity. I said that already. And then Mike was the swagger. Like he was the one who was like, if you want to hang out in more like a hip hop situation or whatever, it was Mike. So thank you, Joe. So the fact that all 6 of them have like, they bring something to the table and they're not just like filler that can be switched in and out. That's unique. So I just love that Rick was just such a cool dude. He's just cool. And his voice was just underrated, in my opinion. But when you let him do his thing, it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate you for letting me do this.
It's all good. And Ronnie deserves some love. I think Ronnie is he is so cool. I cannot explain how cool Ronnie is. I don't know why.
New Jack Sweetie, man. Remember that? You want to shout her out?
What's that?
New Jack Sweetie, when Ronnie shouted her out recently on Facebook.
Yeah. Ronnie gave her a shout out, which was lovely. I met him once, and he was just cool. It was just one interaction, and I was walking past. He was there. I was excited. It's Ronnie DeVoe, and all he does is this, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's Ronnie DeVoe. It was really cool. It's stupid, but it's cool, man.
Thinking about it though, when you think of the Word to the Mother and any of the tracks they did together on Home Again, do you think what showcased as a unit on one track?
Oh, back where we belong. Oh yeah, it feels so good. I mean, that's a huge part of why I love that track, because literally Ronnie starts it. No, Ronnie starts it off. Then Ricky, then Ralph, then Bobby. Bobby's shouting through the whole thing. Then but it's great. And then I think Ronnie has a rap, then Johnny, and then Ralph again, and then it's all of them. And that whole that song, I think, gives everyone a chance to shine.
But are you guys saving? I mean,
because even Home Again is great, but you really focus more. I forgot Mike.
Stevie, think about it. When they did the remix, Word to the Mother, they did It's Poison, Don't Be Cruel, My Prerogative. The whole. Are you saying? Did you have a preference if you had the two tracks where they all sang on one track? Was that? Or maybe that's because that was the first track, and then, but they did.
I'm with you, Namdi. I love. For me, Word to the Mother was it. It was it. That was just excitement overload. It was like they'd broken up, they got back together. Bobby did an album, Ralph did an album, BBD did an album. They're all back together. Let's all just.
It was a really good remix as well.
It was just ridiculous. It was like, what is going on? Because all individually, they were all fantastic projects. We were so excited. And then it wasn't New Edition, it was BBD featuring blah, 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 blah. And you're like, what? And that was the promise of a new album, which didn't come out until 5 years later. But amazing. That Word to the Mother was just absolute magic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Stevie.
Number 10 is Super Lady. Number 9, That's the Way We're Living. Number 8, Where It All Started. Number 7, I'm Coming Home. Sorry to disappoint Andrew there. Number 6, Any Heartbreak. Number 5, Crucial. Number 4, If It Isn't Love. Number 3, Can You Stand the Rain. Number 2, Boys to Men. And my number 1, I'm going to come at this from two different aspects. The first aspect is, you kind of touched on it, Namdi, but it was the sheer audacity of the song and the lyrics. Because all we used to hear with New Jack Swing was Keith Sweat, My Fantasy, I Want Her type lyrics, or begging a girl to come back to you type lyrics, or putting a girl on a pedestal and you try to get her type lyrics. And for the first time ever, I heard a song that said, You're Not My Kind of Girl. And I was just like, that's the first time I'd ever heard this. What, you're actually telling a girl that you don't want her, that you're not interested. And the other aspect is you're wondering, who's this girl that they're talking? You feel sorry for the girl. Who's the girl that they're talking about? You're not, because they're basically saying she's perfect in every way, but you're just not my type. And I'm like, is this personal? Who is this girl they're talking about?
Yeah.
And then and I kind of affiliate Ralph Tresvant with that song. And then if you take his own solo album, he released a track called Do What I Gotta Do, where he went, I gotta let this girl down and tell her that she ain't the one. So he did it again. Yeah. What's going on? You didn't So yeah, not only that though, the production, I thought it was a very sophisticated, like mid-tempo New Jack. So I just love the production. I love the vocal, the way they sang the song. I listened to that. Chris Brown sampled it as well. He did a track using it as well. Not as good. The lyrics were terrible, but yeah, I'm trying to recall why this song's at number one, and it was probably the story of the song and the fact that they had the audacity to tell a girl that you ain't for me. There's a thing. I don't know if you have noticed this, Andrew. It's just something I've noticed on YouTube. There's this social wave of men, like they're going their own way.
Oh yeah. I've
going their own way, and suddenly, it's women in America just suddenly they're finding that men don't want to go on dates with them, and they're just they're not chasing women in America like the. Have you noticed this? Is this really a thing that's going on where
it kind of is? It kind of is
too materialized, too demanding,
or whatever. It just it's a thing, sure, but I feel like. With Ralph, maybe because this is well documented. Like Ralph was always the one that all the girls wanted. So I feel like he comes from a place from abundance. Like he's like, I gotta
a place
you know what I'm saying? Like he's gotta cut this shit down just to like handle the bandwidth of what's coming at him. So I feel like that's why he could kind of come with that energy, right? Whereas the other dudes are like, yo, like you can do me in the morning, you can do me in the night, So no, I think that Ralph definitely had a laid back approach to it because he could, because he was that dude like back then, even more so than Bobby. I think Bobby was just like, F that, I'm leaving the group, I'm gonna do my own thing, because Ralph was that dude. But you're the kind of girl that guys dream of. Like it's almost like it was the nicest letdown you could think of, But yeah.
Oh goodness!
Like I said, I don't think I've ever heard a song like that ever again.
No, that's that was my number two. Yeah,
great choice though.
Brave song.
Yeah, VJ.
Not my kind of girl. Yeah. My songs from 11 down to 1. Competition is 11. Super Lady is number 10. Crucial because it's the album mix was number 9. That's the Way We're Living, number 8. Number 7, Any Heartbreak. 6, You're Not My Kind of Girl. 5, Boys to Men. 4, Where It All Started. 3, Can You Stand the Rain. 2, If It Isn't Love. And I'll talk about my number 1 in a second. I was just going to say, with Johnny Gill in 1990, he did a song called Giving My All to You. And Andrew, you just mentioned Ralph's mother passing. When we were in Miami, Johnny's mum passed away that day. Yeah. And it was incredible because Johnny's mum had just passed away and he came on stage and I'm thinking, dude, what are you doing? Just go home, spend time with your family. But he was very professional. I just found that remarkable. And when people are able to dig that deep, he performed, he was fantastic. And that was just very interesting. Yes. I just wanted to share that. So a song off Johnny Gill's 1990 album is called Giving My All to You. It's one of my favorite songs ever. And I think the counterpart to that on this album for me, and this is why it's my number 1, is Johnny Gill is up there vocally. And I think Ralph, because of his vocals on this song, are on a par with Johnny. And that's very difficult for me to say because Johnny is a superior vocalist, if we're being honest. Sorry to any Ralph fans.
Going for Ralph himself if he watches it.
But Ralph Tresvant on I'm Coming Home is absolutely stunning. This performance by Ralph is killer. There's no other song that deserves to be more at number 1 off this album than this. And I'm Coming Home all day long, every day. I could listen to this song on loop for 2 hours and not even realize I've listened to it for 2 hours. It's perfect. I'm Coming Home is my number 1.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Tag team.
Yes, in a way, I'm glad I'm glad that song got picked. It's a number 1 because, like you say, it wasn't a single. It's not one that a lot of people talk about, but yeah, it is a great. There's no doubt it's a great track. It's fantastic.
I did think we were all going to have Can You Stand the Rain as a slam dunk number 1, but it is 2 with Coming Home and not my kind of girl and myself with Can You Stand the Rain. It just shows the diversity of the album and especially over time as well. Yeah.
We've still got another top 10 to come. You've got the NGS3 submission top 10s.
Yes.
Yeah, so shout out to the few people that submitted it. All of you guys, obviously, Stefan, Mandy, Brandon, Delan, Donald, everybody else that submitted it. Thank you very much. So at number 11, you had Competition. Number 10, you had Super Lady. Number 9, you had Any Heartbreak. Number 8 was I'm Coming Home.
Whoa.
Sorry, Andrew. Number 7 was number 7 was and Lee and a few other people as well. Number 7 was Crucial. Number 6 was You're Not My Kind of Girl. Number 5 was That's the Way We're Living. Number 4 is Where It All Started. Number 3, if I can find it, If It Isn't Love. Number 2 is Can You Stand the Rain? And this is a shocker for me. Number 1 is Boys to Men.
I like that.
Shocking that.
I can
I
live
thought
with
Can You Stand the Rain would be number 1.
I thought so too.
You thought it would be?
Yeah.
I thought Can You Stand the Rain would have been number 1. But
Yeah.
Boys to Men is great. It's a great pick.
Fantastic song. So that's your lot. Boys to Men at number 1. And yeah, that's the NGS Forever list.
Just real quick, I if they hadn't broken up and done albums, I don't think they'll be as big as they are. I think they had to do this at least. I think just they should have done just one solo album each, come back, go back and do another solo, and that probably would have. Yeah, but Johnny would probably tell you likewise, otherwise, because he was the only one that really was consistent with his stuff, and to some extent Bobby. But I think they should have just come back in '91 when they did the Word to the Mother, come out with an album, done a big tour, then go back and do your solo stuff. That was the timing, and they had, that Word to the Mother was such a moment. It was such a moment, and we were waiting for something big. And remember that MTV performance that Bobby did, something to the heart, or
Happened to my heart.
Something to my heart, and they all came out, the 6 of them for the first time, and goodness.
But I think there's a reason why that didn't come out at that time, because one of your favorite albums, Nandi, was being made at that time. Bobby's album was being made around that time, so where would Bobby have done Bobby if New Edition were doing, because you doing an album, because you could tell that Bobby put a lot of energy into the Bobby album, a lot.
Yeah, but I think they probably could no, but that Bobby album came out in '92, so and they did this stuff in '91. They
but it was
could
being
have come.
recorded. '91 was when they started. It was at that time that all of the Bobby stuff was that they started during that period.
My answer is just do the Heartbreak lineup. I mean, let Bobby do his thing, do the Heartbreak lineup again, because the thing is, BBD's and John's second albums were not their first album. So they should have done the Heartbreak lineup and then come back together as a 6 if it made sense. But I think the Heartbreak lineup was actually New Edition, like no longer bubblegum. They were actually more like people took them more seriously. And that I think I'm partial to the Heartbreak lineup. Sorry, Bobby, I love you. Trust me, I do. But I think that the Heartbreak lineup is when New Edition went from potential fad group to actual legends, in my opinion.
And if Bobby was too busy, he could have done a couple of songs, fitted in a couple of songs somewhere. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you pull up that question from P. Jones, please, Namdi, because I want to address that, please.
What was the question?
Why is there no women on this panel? Two reasons for that. The first reason is if you take a bunch of guys who like to go out for a drink away from the ladies and just do a man thing and have a chat and catch up, that's one of the reasons. The second reason is there any women out there who were, into New Jack Swing, who know all about it back then, that could come on here? Because we are looking for women. We just don't know that many who could come on this podcast and give their opinions on certain albums. It's open. If there's any ladies out there that, reach out to Namdi at Halftime Chat, and I'm sure in the new year we can make that happen. But we're just a bunch of guys. We go back years, apart from Nandi, who we've got to know recently. and we're just reliving, as they say, New Edition, reliving our New Edition years. So there you go. Thank you very much for your question.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, it's been well, for Andrew, I'm sure also it's been therapeutic and stuff. But it's been good to really celebrate New Edition. As I said, I have to. I remember Damien Hall saying that the only two groups he puts above that he will say on the guy was New Edition and Tony because they brought so much to the table, and yeah, and I have definitely looking at them, they took it seriously, man. They knew this was their last chance. They couldn't do the bubblegum stuff, and didn't expect Bobby to blow up when they were recording this. And they and if could you imagine if they just came with Super Lady and stuff like that? That if that was the album, if that was the kind of those Jelly Bean tracks, like, yeah, come on, let's
Game over.
and then Bobby's doing all that stuff, they would have said, yeah, man, this is it.
Let's go back
they
home.
Yeah. So definitely a good album. It's good that we all had something really different, diverse and stuff, and great performance from Andrew as well. So,
Sorry, one last thing, if I can, just slip this in, little thing. You mentioned New Edition Guy and Tony. Guy were touring with Tony at the time. Guy were also touring with New Edition on a separate tour, and we know that there was some things around that tour. But all three of them phenomenal. And if I was to add one group into that mix, into that group on that level, I would probably add Mint Condition, because I felt they were a very special group, very talented, just serious musicians.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And Andrew, you still haven't told us the story of your audition in Minneapolis, because I just love the
no,
ending.
I actually did say no. I did say that. No, I did. I basically said that when I sang "I'm Coming Home," I did that exact rendition, and they still said no to me. So it broke my heart.
The build up about the weather, and when and the way he was exited, it's always stayed with me.
Oh, actually, you know what? Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Oh my God, you remember this? Okay. Oh my God. Okay. All right. This may or may not be a true story. So, oh my God, it's terrible. Okay. F it. So 2006, Diddy, of all people, is having an audition for Making the Band. Okay. So, and this is the Making the Band that became, I think, is it Day 26, whatever? That's what they put together. So I flew out from Chicago to Detroit and was waiting in line. It was freezing. I'm actually saying Casey in the rain to the cab driver. He's like, man, you're going to get it, right? So I can't believe you make me tell this story. But anyway, so I get in line, I do all the things. I finally make it to the room, okay? This is heartbreaking, no pun intended for Heartbreak. But I get into the room, and there's three judges. I'm pretty sure one of the usher producers is there. Anyway, I do my thing. I'm singing "Can You See in the Rain," heart out, like just doing my thing. And they're all like, yeah, whatever, right? So after I'm done, they're like, good job. I can't even tell the story, but whatever, it's all good. Life goes on. They lead me to a room, and I go to the room, and they're like, okay, go through that other door, And I'm like, cool, right? So I open the door, and I close it, and then I'm in a hallway, and there's like nothing, silence, and there's only another door after the hallway, and there's no handle on the door that I came from, so I'm stuck. So I open the door, snow outside. It was such a raw, whack rejection. But tell you what though, that way I avoided baby oil. The Day 26, they did their thing, but not really. I feel like, in life, when one door closes, another opens, so to speak. And that I worked that in. So anyway, I just wanted to say that is what happened. I must have told you that when you were in town here in Brooklyn.
I've never forgotten it. Just the fact that you bailed out in a load of snow. I've just never forgotten that story.
It was a crazy, messed up story. But that said, I'm going to take my last 30 seconds to say that when Ralph says missing you, needing you, I'm wanting you every day, when he's doing those, I know
Oops.
I know, like those listen to and must be absorbed. I feel like his vocals were never better than that. So that's just me being a fan and saying, y'all, listen, I'm coming home, and listen to like Ralph's riffs towards the end. They're amazing. So all of that said, I had a humbling experience, but that's okay. I'm still here. And yeah, Marco was so cold, but it's all good. I'm smiling, and life goes on, and you might hear some music from me anyway. I'll be a studio gangster. All right.
This has been great. My favorite Ralph new edition is That's Why I Lied.
That's a good one from yeah.
From the Forgotten album. What was the album called? The one on Bad Boy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. Oh, One Love.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been great. Well, Stevie, how did you find it today?
Got 2 hours gone very, very quickly. I'll just wish everyone a good evening. We'll have to discuss in the new year what we're going to do with these guys for the next podcast. But I'll just say this. The New Jack Swing podcast. Good evening. Thanks for watching. Again, spending 2 hours with us, because that's the way we're living.
That's the way we're living.
Thank you.
And happy birthday in advance, VJ. And
so
safe
much.
journey. And we'll see when you get back. And we'll wait for your self-titled album, Andrew, as well. And guys, for those who are watching on next weekend, actually, Jack McGee, the competition for those who are doing the remix competition, we're going to go live. I think it's next weekend. Yeah, I need to check the diaries. But anyway, details will come out for
a week on Sunday. It is.
Yeah, the 15th. So that's next week. Yes. So that's
I thought it was
just
the 22nd. Is it not the 22nd?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, maybe it's in 2 weeks. I'll post it. You can tell that I've been off the cuff with things, but it's been great. And yes, yeah, we'll stop looking for New Year's. He said, Tony. There's so much with that. But thanks, guys. And we'll